Hello, and welcome to Warhammer 40k's Grim History from Beyond. I'm Zekthar.
And I'm Jukari.
And today we're discussing something interesting that is happening on Terran 42. Henry Cavill has decided that he is going to produce something with Amazon about Warhammer 40k. And I figured Jukari and I should discuss this a little bit. So, here's the question, Jukari. Obviously, anyways, they can do this one of two ways. They can either do it as like a movie or a trilogy of movies, or they can do like a TV show, very much like Game of Thrones. So my question to you is actually it's two-part. What story would you like, anyways, them to do as a movie or a movie trilogy or a movie series? Or not movie series, but a TV series. And on top of that, anyways, what part would you like to see Henry Cavill play?
When it comes to a TV series, either the Gaunt's Ghost series.
That would be cool, but who would you play?
And he would probably play Gaunt.
Who would you have as Bragg?
I don't know.
I think Terry Crews would do a pretty good job with that.
Well, except for the problem with that is that all the Tanith are basically Terran 42's Irish/Scottish.
Yeah, but okay, they're on. I mean, Tanith is the world's populace that, as everybody knows, anyways, was exterminated by chaos. So you could have merchants, anyways, from other realms that showed up. I mean, it's not far from the possibility, anyways, to have black guy being part of the Tanith.
Except for there's a part where he mentions that. No, I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah, in the book. Yeah,
they mention it in the book that he's.
Well, okay. How about Alan Richter then? He's the guy who plays Reacher.
That should work if it's who I'm visualizing. I never actually saw Reacher, but from what I've seen of the person,
big old dude. Yeah. I still think, anyways, Terry Brooks wouldn't be half bad. But then again, anyways, I'm holding out, anyways, that they do the Horus Heresy and Terry Brooks could be Vulcan, because I think that would be perfect for him. But
you mean Terry Crews?
Or Crews, yeah. I said Brooks. Yeah, no, that's an author. My bad. Anyways,
either him or that guy that was in what is it called? Underworld? The one with the vampires?
The guy with the deep bass voice.
That'd
be pretty cool too. Yes, I believe his name is Kevin Grievous. And he does honestly have probably one of the greatest voices in Hollywood.
Who looks like he's significantly actually bigger than Terry Crews, but
yeah. Which he's probably not, because Terry Crews is a very large man. Okay, so we're thinking Gaunt's Ghost for a series.
Right.
You got any other actors that you have in mind for that? So obviously Henry Cavill would be Gaunt.
Right.
You got any other ones that you could think of, anyways, that would be perfect for this role?
I am not sure.
Well, okay, let me ask this question then. Who do you think, anyways, they got to really get right? Who are the ones, anyways, that you're just like, okay, these are my favorite characters?
The people that they would have to get right, in my mind, would be
other than Bragg. Who?
Well, other than Bragg, yeah. Gotta get him right, too. Obviously, Larkin.
Yeah, okay, so for those that you don't know, Larkin is the sniper, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's the one that's a little off upstairs, right?
Yeah, until, it's a ways in. But at one point, the way the one person put it is, it seems like basically he had gone all the way off and come back around. So he's actually kind of sane. That should tell you the experience that they had.
He's going to round the horn, and yeah, now he's sane.
But the other people would have to be, in my opinion...
What do you think about Jim Carrey for Larkin? I know he's retired, but what do you think?
Who?
Jim Carrey. He's not quite insane enough? Is that what we're looking at here? I mean, I'm thinking either... Okay, I was thinking Jim Carrey, but we need a guy that can act insane, but still lucid. And
Yeah.
give that concept of he knows what he's shooting at.
I'm thinking it has to be somebody that was like in a film where somebody suffered from PTSD or something like that.
How about the guy who played the main guy in Vikings? Travis Fimmel. I hope I got his name right, but Travis Fimmel. I think that's his name.
Maybe.
Kind of had that crazy look about him.
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been
a while.
Briefly watched it too.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so who's the other person or two people?
The other people would probably be McCall and McVenner. Those are at the beginning. Those are the two top scouts. I'm just looking at the Tanith.
Right.
The further ones.
But for those two, anyways, what are their characters and who would you picture as them?
I don't know.
Well, okay, so one's McCullen.
One's McCall, another one's McVenner.
Okay, so McCall. Okay, so McVenner's the one that he's the sneaky one, right?
They're both sneaky. McCall is the person who's the.
It's Gaunt's Ghost, so they're all sneaky. But
yeah, well, sneaky for Gaunt's Ghost. Okay, so McCall is the sergeant.
He's the one that outsnuck a White Scar, right?
Hey, don't get into that.
Well, okay. So for those that are going to be listening anyways, we talk about this in notable characters for White Scars. It's that guy, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then McVenner was like the only person that he admitted that was better than he was.
So he is literally the ghost in the darkness. He is just gone.
He is, in one of them, they claimed that, he supposedly was dead, but they use an inference that he actually isn't. But the fact that all of a sudden these people end up showing up dead, these enemies, and nobody's been doing it.
And then all of a sudden he pops back up again. He's like, yeah, killed all these guys.
And then,
oh no!
There's like one or two people that see a glimpse of him. And then all of a sudden the people that were trapped are free. And it's like, what the freaking heck went on? It's like, we didn't have anything to do with it. That's your problem.
So with these two guys, anyways, who would you cast as them?
They'd have to be more stern-like characters.
Well, McCullen, if I recall right, he's kind of wiry, right?
They're both okay. The Tanith in general are kind of wiry.
Bragg's kind of the exception. Yeah.
Bragg is, the exception.
So, I don't know. You're looking for a hero here anyways that doesn't fit a real hero aspect. Because when you think of heroes in today anyways, for cinema, you're thinking of the big brawny dude. Or he's a little bit smaller, but he's, mischievous and witty.
Right.
We're looking for somebody anyways who's literally scrawny and sneaky. Or who could play that role.
Not scrawny, but not like...
I got it. Jack Black. No, I'm kidding. Both of them anyways. It's Tenacious D. Jeez. Yeah, that's a tough one. All right.
Who would you choose for Ron? He's another person that you'd have to get right.
Ron's the drummer, right? Or the
No. Ron is the guy that originally wants to kill Gaunt.
Oh, him.
Yeah, him.
Clive Owens.
Who's Clive Owens again?
He's the British actor who played King Arthur in King Arthur. He was also in Sin City. He was in quite a few shows, actually. Smoking Aces. No, not Smoking Aces. It was it was Shoot 'Em Up. No. My bad. They had a shooting scene, anyways. It was the
okay. I see. Yeah, I can see him doing it.
Yeah, he's got a very hard line to him.
Yeah.
I could. I hate to say it. Ben Affleck. McCall? He's got a wide enough range to do that. And I have no idea on the other guy, man. I just, the Ghost.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Who would you choose for Milo? He's the Piper.
Okay, so Milo, Milo's one of my favorite characters that we see grow up in Gaunt's Ghost. Milo, he's got to be a younger guy.
Which is a problem because most people we know are.
Well, ironically, anyways, I'm thinking of the guy who played everybody's hated person in Game of Thrones. I can't remember his name.
Well, I didn't see Game of Thrones, so I couldn't tell you.
Joffrey, the guy who played Joffrey. I know he's retired, but well, no, I mean, honestly, he did such a great job being the bad guy that he just is like, I'm retired, because he got so much hate mail and everybody hated him. Oh, by the way, the Ghost, Joaquin Phoenix, would do a great job on that. But now that I think about that, but yeah, Milo, Jack Gleason. And this time, anyways, he could actually play a fairly chipper and nice dude. And it would be interesting because it would be the complete opposite of what he did in Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, he was this vicious, maniacal asshat.
Well, what was his character?
Joffrey.
Mm-hmm. Any last name that I can go off of here?
Just type in Joffrey. You're going to find who he is. But
Barrett again.
This time, anyways, he could actually play a very uplifting character, and it would be interesting to see if he could actually do it. Instead of being the megalomaniacal person that he was in Game of Thrones, in this one, anyways, he's the guy that has always got hope, which is very interesting because even Gaunt, anyways, is just kind of like, oh, there's no end to this madness. And then you've got his musician, anyways, is like, oh, you can't say that, sir. The Imperium will always prevail. And it always gives Gaunt's hope. So, yeah, I'd like to see him play that. I think it would be interesting. But anyways, that's the series. What do you think, anyways, is a movie?
Well, the other series that I think of would be the Horus Heresy. But that'd be like, what, 30 seasons?
Yeah, you would have to do that in 15, 20 seasons. Just, you could even start with the Ulanor Triumph and end with the Siege of Terra, and that's probably at least 15 seasons. I mean, because you're going to have to give background stories anyways to all the guys that weren't there at the Ulanor Triumph. And then on top of that, you're going to have to go through everything that took place. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to see as a series the Horus Heresy. I just don't know if it can be done. There's just too much that goes on.
Right.
With it. But anyways, movies.
Okay,
so real quick, anyways, can you see one that you can think of anyways that would be a single movie and one that you would want to see as a trilogy?
As a single movie. That's hard because of the fact that the majority of the things that I've seen, that I've read concerning Warhammer 40k were all multiple, like omnibuses or things like that, which really wouldn't work for an individual movie.
What about Brutal Cunning?
That would be very hard to do. And I don't know what role Cavill would play.
Well, he could play the orc. I'm sure he'd be fine with that.
Voice? I'm sorry, somebody that's going to be 8 feet tall. Yeah, you play that guy.
We're here for the warg. Yeah. I was just giving an instance anyways that you could do a single movie. That's the only book that I could read within anyways the aspects of Warhammer 40k that didn't have extras attached to it.
Right. There was.
But as a trilogy,
Well, actually, how about Rim's World? People really like that. You could have him play.
You could do that, actually. I think in one book, you might be able to actually, or not book, sorry, movie. You might be able to get that. But of course, Henry Cavill would want to be Pedro Cantor.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well that would work out. But I mean, I don't know. He might be able to do a Spanish accent.
Yeah. He does a good enough American accent.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, I mean, that wouldn't be a half bad one, anyways, for a single movie. But I know you're really thinking trilogy. So, what are you thinking?
Trilogy, I know a lot of people apparently, according to you, want Eisenhorn to be done, which, of course, he would play Eisenhorn. No doubt.
And quite frankly, anyways, and with my knowledge of Warhammer 40k, that's one that I never read the books, honestly.
Well, to be fair, it is
he's a Xenos Inquisitor, right? Or the what do they call them? They're the Ordo Xenos.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I never read them.
Yeah. Well, so we're not discounting this as a good idea.
No.
We're just saying we don't know enough information about it. But with the information that you do know, anyways, what would you think, anyways, would be a great trilogy?
For a great trilogy, let's see. And apparently, according to you, Henry Cavill isn't a great fan of the Space Wolves, so we can eliminate those two.
Yeah. Should be the full Acadia. Henry Cavill stars as Abdon. I don't know if he'd go for that, but
We got
I think he'd do a good job. Was that?
We got to pale him up a bit and dye his hair red.
I think Henry Cavill would do an excellent job as Abdon, but I don't think he would want to be Abdon.
Yeah. You think anybody would really want to be Abdon?
Well, people who normally play John Malkovich. Sorry. I don't know, and that would be a terrible pick, anyways. For Abdon. Yeah, anyways.
You think he could play Larkin?
That would actually be pretty good for Larkin. They would have to CGI him, anyways, in the battle scenes, but we have the technology now. We can do that.
Yes.
But anyways, so a trilogy. What are you thinking?
I think it would be a little hard right now to go with Caiaphas Cain because of the way it's written.
Caiaphas Cain?
Yeah. I mean, if it was done like you can do it. Unfortunately, the way that they're made, the only way I could see those being done is more in a TV show cartoon way because you have his internal thoughts monologuing on top of what he's actually saying.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. That would make it a lot harder, but I think he still probably could do it. And, well, honestly, anyway, Caiaphas Cain, you could do in a single movie, too. Because all the stuff that they've written about him is like single books. And some of them do kind of tie together, but at the same time...
Yeah, that inner monologue thing that's...
Yeah.
That a lot of... I mean, it's been done before. It's been done actually kind of well before.
Deadpool did it very well.
Not often, and in most cases that I've seen it also done really well has been in things like cartoons or animes where they'll stop things so that you can hear everything that's going on instead of...
So if you were going to do Caiaphas Cain anyways, the question is if Henry Cavill wants to be the main star of it, or if he wants to just be more in the background and play just like a minor character.
If you had to play a more minor character, I would place him as Major Brocklaw.
I was thinking more along the lines of the smelly guy. I was going to say anyways, if you're going to do this and it's a movie, I mean, who better to be Caiaphas Cain than Ryan Reynolds? I mean,
I think Chris Pratt would do a good job, though.
You know what? That's not a bad idea either. But still, at the same time, that quirky comedy, anyways, that both of them kind of bring. but I would probably put Henry Cavill as what's his name? The blank. I can't remember his name.
Jurgen.
Jurgen. Thank you. Yes. Jurgen. I think he could do a good job as Jurgen anyways. It's kind of those like, and very much anyways, the high uptight butler as Jurgen is, but still at the same time wielding a melta.
And dirty as
Would
all
you like
get
tea,
out.
my lord? I'm sorry, the orc here anyways got in the way. Would you like your tea, sir? I mean, I could see Henry doing that. But, you know, I understand what you're saying anyways. It would be a tough concept if you wanted Henry Cavill as the main star. So if you're going to do that,
it would be hard to do no matter who was playing the roles.
Okay,
just because of the way that they're done.
So as you know, anyways, I'm going to give my 2 cents on this as well. I'm going to go ahead and say, anyways, for a movie, mine would be, anyways, Cyphus Cain, one of the books that they did, and Ryan Reynolds as Cyphus, and then and then Henry Cavill as the Major that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And then Jurgen, I think Chris Pratt would do an excellent job as Jurgen.
Yeah, I think
I'm just remembering back to his what was the show he was on?
Parks and Recreation.
Park and Rec. Yeah. Just as Andy. But being a butler. I think he could do that. But your concept for movie or trilogy, what are we going with?
Yeah. I know this would be a bad idea. There's a book out there called like 15 Hours, but it's one of the only things I can think of that was an individual book that I read.
What was 15 hours?
It's called like 15 or 18 hours or something like that. It wasn't a great.
Okay, well then, let's move on.
Maybe one of the Last Chancer books, like the second one, maybe.
Now, for those of you who may not know about this book series, the Last Chancer series is a series of novels written by Gavin Thorpe, featuring the Imperial Guard 13th Penal Legion, or Last Chancers, under the command of Colonel Schaefer. In 2006, the 3 novels were published in an omnibus edition titled The Last Chancers, along with the short stories Liberty and Deliverance. But anyways, you were saying, Yuxin?
Has almost a Dirty Dozen sort of feel to it.
Hollywood would like that because it seems almost like a remake. So, depends on what you want to do with it. If you're looking for a single movie or a couple of movies, it would, I think, be great.
Yeah.
It's got that concept of, like you said, the Dirty Dozen.
The first one is a bit different from that, but those you can actually take separate from each other, in my opinion. Except for the third one, which I didn't care much for anyways, so screw that.
Well, I think Hollywood's going to have a huge problem anyways with Warhammer 40k on the concept of its darkness. And by the way, anyways, I think that's actually a good idea of movie. And in which case, before I get into my aspect, who would you place as Henry Cavill? Would he be the hero of the story, or would he be the drill sergeant?
I would put him as...
Or Colonel. Sorry, Colonel.
Schaefer or either or. I'd put him either as Colonel Schaefer, the guy that's in charge of the Legion, or...
So hang on. Anyways, what's the difference between these characters?
Okay, so Schaefer is basically he isn't even a commissar, which is good.
So Schaefer is... He's
okay,
a colonel,
let's put
right?
it this way. He's in charge of the unit called the Last Chancers.
Right.
And he is successful at it. So that in itself tells you his character is, you don't mess with this guy. Basically.
So he is, let me see if I can pull this up. He is Lee Marvin from The Dirty Dozen. Lee Marvin was the, he was the major that was responsible for The Dirty Dozen.
Okay. And then the other guy is Lieutenant Cage. And he's the guy that actually mainly follows the series does.
Okay.
And
what kind of character is he?
He is a well, his character becomes more psychotic as it goes along. I mean, he isn't like full on psycho, but dirty. He's like that dirty fighter that you see that will do whatever it takes to get something done, but
Yeah.
generally never a honest or honorable way. Just
He does what needs to be done.
yeah, but like never honorably.
He reminds me.
He would shiv you instead of go, I will fight you and kill you that way, even though he could probably kill you that way. He'd rather just shiv you instead.
He, to me, anyways, his character, to me, anyways, sounds like he's a survivor.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, anyways, what you put in front of him, he is going to survive it.
Well, he first starts off in the second book actually escaping a top prison facility by creating a shiv out of a spoon.
He sounds a lot like... Okay, so in this movie, anyways, I would probably cast him, anyways, as Vin Diesel. Because to me, anyways, that reminds me a lot of Pitch Black. And Henry Cavill would be Lee Majors' role. But that's just me. What are you thinking?
What pops into my head is in a TV show called Human Target. There's that guy that looks like a weasel.
Yeah. I know
he literally does start to do that. Create a show for the spoon.
Most people will know him anyways as Rorschach Man. He was in The Watchmen. He's the guy that roars out and he's like, you don't, when he gets in prison, he's like, you don't understand. I'm not locked up in here with you. You're locked up in here with me. As he like murders the guy in front of him. What is his name? That is a good question.
The actual actor's name is Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah. He's God, I know. He used a really obtuse concept, but I've watched the show too. The show
it's
that you're
a good
talking
show.
about. That was a very good show. It should have stayed on for many more seasons, a little than 2.
Yeah.
But so you would place him anyways as the lieutenant, and then Henry Cavill as Lee Majors?
Yes.
I could definitely see that.
For a trilogy?
For a trilogy, that would be a great movie.
Yeah. A great movie would be using one of those two, either the first book or the second book. The first book would be actually probably much darker than the second book, actually.
But, okay, so my concept, anyways, of what would be some things to do that would be good. As a series, see, here's the weird thing is that the thing I'm thinking of, anyways, you could do actually is both of them. I mean, as a trilogy, you would cut out a lot, but it'd be very interesting still. The Badab War.
Oh.
And quite frankly, anyways, Henry Cavill as LOF Ton, I think would be great. Because he starts off as this great hero of the Imperium, and then we slowly watch him fall. And I think he would do a great job doing that. And on top of that, if they want to continue doing on stuff with Warhammer 40k, LOF Ton doesn't die at the end of this. So he becomes, what is it? Huron Blackheart or Redheart?
Blackheart.
Blackheart? Yeah. To me, that would be fairly interesting, especially in a series. Because it literally is taking a hero of the Imperium. And because of the Imperium's actions, we watch him fall to being a villain. And not only that, but there's also some cool characters that you could probably throw in there, like the Minotaur's chapter leader. He would be pretty cool. The Red Scorpions chapter leader would be awesome as well. Along with as everybody knows, the Carcradons, Tyberos. Tyberos would be fairly awesome anyways to see. It would be, and it's got a conclusion to it, which to me anyways seems fairly interesting. And you could plug that in as a trilogy. Personally, I see that more as a series. But the other ones that, quite frankly, anyways, everybody's going to want to see, anyways, is the Fall of Cadia is fairly intricate, and you could definitely do that as a series or a trilogy, and then you could add on to the back end of that trilogy the rise of Rabute Gilliman, which would be interesting. Like I mentioned before, the Horus Heresy would be cool as a series. It would just be, I don't know if you could do it. There's just too much stuff in there. So, Yuxin, some of the things that I've kind of labeled off anyway seem very apparent, but one of the things that we both forgot that would be actually fairly interesting as a series would be the War of the Beasts.
Well, except for the very end. It's just a bunch of bull BS stuff that they did to try to come up with an ending.
Okay, that's because you're an orc fan.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about it, and honestly, the War of the Beasts would be actually a fairly interesting series, don't you think? I think, anyways, the Captain of the Imperial Fist would be great for Henry Cavill there.
Which captain?
The one that dies at the end.
Almost all of them die, if not all of them die.
He's the one, anyways, that restarts the Imperium and comes back, and they're just like, no, we're not attacking the orcs, and he thumps one of them anyways, and he goes, you know what, I'm in charge now, and everybody goes, yes, you should be in charge now.
I want to say Corland was his name.
Corland, yes, Corland. I think you'd be great as Corland. But there is so much Warhammer 40k out there, and they could play so many different interesting things. To me, anyways, that'd be an interesting series. It would also be a very interesting trilogy, The War of the Beast. Another one that I think, anyways, that would be fascinating. I don't know where you would throw Henry Cavill into this, but the Age of Apostasy, where the church kind of tries to take over the empire. And then another guy from the church anyway says, no, this is stupid, and takes it back from him. There are so many things that you could probably plug in. And obviously all the ones anyways I'm thinking about anyways are before the 41st millennium. Because that's where my history and lore and my love anyways is. When you get to the 41st millennium, things just get stupid dark. And I think honestly Hollywood's going to have a problem with that. I mean, the whole concept anyways that you strap a dude in anyways who's half there, half of his skin is gone just to get through the warp is just, I don't know if Hollywood's going to be able to do that.
Well, who says that they have to show that?
Well, it depends on what you're covering. If you're covering like the 41st millennium anyways, it's very grimdark. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't like grimdark. I mean, there are aspects of it anyways that I find interesting. But what pulls me towards Warhammer 40k is the concept of the strategy and the wars. To me, that is the more interesting thing. Not that the Jukari anyways plastered human flesh across their entire ship so they look more menacing. That's not something I really need to see. It's not something I don't think anybody really wants to see.
Right.
Personally. By the way, one of the reasons why I don't think anyways they will do the omnibus of the Ultramarines. There's just, it's too dark.
Right.
You got to take a couple steps back.
The fact of the matter is they'd probably stick to probably something Xenos related, mainly focusing around, for example, going against the Tau, the Orcs, or
the Tau,
not the Jukari, but the other Eldari. Maybe the Tyranids.
You know, I hate to say it. It would be great if they did a movie about Trazine. You know, I would love that. No, I don't know if anybody else would, but I was just like, it's Trazine! No, I mean, they could do it. It would be just like Pokemon. But significantly darker. I choose you, Imperial Guard Regiment 32. Pew. know.
By the way, I have things in your body, so you can't deny me.
Yeah. And we're not going to talk about that. But, I mean, honestly, anyways, that would be actually a really good movie. The Infinite and the Divine. That'd be a great movie. The problem is that there's not a whole lot of humans in it. So it has to be pretty much animated.
Yeah.
So Henry Cavill as Trine. The problem I think he would have with that is that they would have to make his voice fairly robotic.
Right.
So honestly, if you were going to do that, you would have to get what's his face? The guy who played the Autobot dude. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank here.
Which Autobot?
Optimus Prime. Peter Collins. Peter Collins and Hugh Laurie or Hugh Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. You'd have to get those guys. That would actually be a fairly good movie.
Or something focusing around the Ultramar campaign.
The Ultramar campaign would be fairly cool.
Following immediately after the Cadian.
Just thinking, Henry Cavill starring as Belisarius Cawl. No.
He would be.
He would have to be
Rabrute. And as Rabrute Gilliman.
Rabrute Gilliman, yeah.
Or he would play Magnus.
Magnus?
Yeah.
Magnus? I don't think it was in that
Maggie
one.
Cal.
Marnius Calgar.
Yeah, sorry, Marnie Cal.
Yeah, Magnus. I was like, I don't think the Primarch of the Thousand Suns is in that one. Well, we've had a lot of fun thinking about this and talking about it. But those are our 2 cents anyways on what we think anyways for Henry Cavill and his new Amazon endeavor on Warhammer 40k. But we thought it was an interesting enough topic that we should probably talk about. Right, Yuxin?
Yeah.
So, until next time, feel free anyways to check out the shop. We got lots of cool stuff there, including, before you say it, Yuxin, rabbits, along with clothes, pillows, and hats. And have a great day. And until next time, this is Ekthar.
And Yuxin.
Signing off.